hear an ancient voice whispering from the void, and it chills my lightless heart.
G'day guys, Phil here. We're going to have a look at another replay from the Korean ladder here. As you can see, our first player here, the Terran player in red down on the bottom right in Shakuras at the 5 o'clock position, is BisuMvP. He's this red Terran who is, it's obviously not the real Bisu, guys. Calm down. I know there's some of you who are like, but he's still playing Brood War. Well, it's obviously not the real Bisu, so just keep your pants on. And his opponent over here, as adequately identified by Bisu, is a player named Zeus. So I don't really know either of these players. We'll get past that and just get over that one. He's across on the horizontal position. So they're going to have this the land bridge, of course, in the middle, which they can use to get to their opponent's base. But from what I saw on the actual description of this particular replay on PlayXP, it might actually not be used at all. So I'm not actually sure. I did have a quick look at that, but that was about it. But it is a TvT, so some of you will be like, why is he casting a TvT? We know Phil doesn't actually like TvT. Yeah, the description was actually an interesting one, a particular strategy in which I have not seen before. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what goes down on this very lovely map. I know a lot of people actually like Shakuras because it has some awesome macro games that get played out and some very interesting dynamics given the positions of the Zelnaga watchtowers, of course, and obviously the smiley face base down here. Isn't that pretty? You got the eyes and then the mouth. It's all good. But yeah, we've seen some cool games on Shakuras, so hopefully this one does not let us down. We do have Bisu scouting into the base of Zeus, and he does see that the 1 Rax has gone up from Zeus. He's going to have that one up and running shortly. Interestingly, Zeus actually scouted a little bit later. As you can see, his SCV is only just getting across. So his scouting is just going to be slightly later than Bisu's was. And once he comes in here, he's going to see that the Rax is done. He's going to see that 1 refinery is up, and that's about it really for the moment. So there's not going to be any sorts of fancy marine rushing or anything like that from Bisu. So he's going to be all right to defend his base, and of course he's not going to really need to wall off or anything like that. You don't really need to wall off in TvT much. However, as we can see here, Zeus has not actually gotten his gas, so he's probably going to go for a pretty fast command center, and there it is. He does slam that one down. That's going to get done shortly. We do have 2 Marines out for him just down here, as you can see, 1 guarding the ramp, another just checking out for any proxies, and we'll see what happens. So another SCV is coming through. So in this matchup so far, we've got a... what do we got? Is this actually... no, it's a double refinery, actually. So we're going to have 2 refineries up. The factory is almost done, of course, over here as well. So we'll see what he does with that. And, of course, just the 1 Rax. So got a 1 Rax refinery, factory against a command center into the 3 Rax opening. So obviously, Bisu's going to have the advantage of having a little bit higher tech out a bit quicker, but once the second base gets up and running for Zeus, it's actually going to give him a little bit of an advantage depending on what Bisu could do with his tech advantage. So as you can see here, a tech lab has gone up from Bisu. He's going to get that up in just a second, and he probably will see either tanks or perhaps a Hellion or even perhaps a switch. No, there is a Hellion coming out, and Blue Flame is on the way. Why is it called Blue Flame if the actual icon is red? Someone answer that one. But yeah, so he's going to have the Blue Flame out in a minute, or just under a minute. Yeah, about a minute or so. And then that'll be done, and he'll probably see a drop, because this is very much, these positions actually are really good for doing a Hellion drop. So we'll have to see if Zeus is actually prepared to spot that drop, and if he can actually fend it off. So see what happens. He does have the supply depot down here at the rocks, just to look out for any incoming drops or any attacks on these rocks or anything like that, because of course you can see the units when they're down here, and you can obviously see the rocks being shot apart. We have a little bit of a battle here. This SCV decided it was a good time to have a look at the Zelnaga watchtower, but of course this Hellion is down here and just roasted up that SCV in his robot suit, and the natural is now being taken. So we've got the economy. In the economy positions, we've sort of got, obviously, Zeus actually has his, he's going to have an extra Mule to push out, which he will do in just a second, and it looks as if he's got a missile turret here as well, so he might be ready for this drop if it is indeed coming, and it looks like it is. So we've got a medevac on the way. But yeah, Zeus's economy is going to kick in shortly, and then he'll be able to produce a lot of units and perhaps do a little push of his own, but it sort of depends on how well this Hellion drop goes. The 4 Hellions are out. They're probably going to be grouped up in just a second once they... No, he's not actually doing it. No, I'm just having a look at the hotkeys down here, and we don't actually have any for that Hellion, so it's a little bit... well, the 4 Hellions actually, so it's a little bit surprising. We'll see what happens. We do have the drop coming in here. Bisu can see that he's now been spotted. He has now seen that there is a missile turret here. The blue flame Hellions get dropped in. They're going to do a little bit of damage here. We've seen a lot of SCVs actually go down. We have 2 kills on this one. We got a couple more kills on some of these other Hellions. They're going to run down to the natural, which is now effectively unprotected at the mineral line, and a mule goes down. We're going to see some more SCVs go down. Awesome kills there. Let's have a quick look at the units lost tab. We've got 15 units down for Zeus, so he's not going to be happy with that. He did lose quite a few SCVs, and a Banshee is now out for Bisu as well. So this is actually, yeah, this is what I saw in the description for this replay. Is it was actually Banshee Hellion versus Bionic. So that's very much what we're going to see here. We do have a reactor. We got the tech lab here as well. So we're going to see some interesting Bio versus this Hellion Banshee build. And we do have the cloak is now done. As we can see, the Banshee's going to come in here, provide a little bit of DPS on that bunker, and the bunker is, they're going to let loose the SCV, the Marines, sorry, and then the blue flame Hellions actually come up. That is a really cool strategy, just to lure out the Marines and then try and actually roast them up with the blue flame off those Hellions. And as you can see, they did actually get 1 kill, but this Banshee is going to be quite annoying. You can see that there is a turret there, but he's going to be able to shoot away at this command center, and he's going to have to be really careful. Some epic micro is required to hold the Banshee and make sure you can actually use it effectively against a group of Marines like this. And the stim does go off. That Banshee was actually inside the range of the missile turret. For those of you guys who are just sort of wondering how that was spotted, the missile turret range is sort of something, it's the actual detection range, sorry, is actually quite huge. So that's why that was actually spotted. We got we still got only the oops, we've got the 3 racks here. We've got the factory, and a starport is now done as well. We'll probably see perhaps a Viking or 2. I'm not really sure what Zeus is going to do, but a couple more units, groups of units are on the way. A whole bunch of Hellions are coming through, and a couple of Banshees as well. Looks as if Bisu is going to stick with this one base little shindig that he's got going. He does have 2 starports and 2 factories, obviously cranking out the Hellions and the Banshees, of course. And these Banshees look like they're going to come in and do a bit of prowling on the base of Zeus. They do have another couple of shots at that bunker, and it looks as if the Marines actually stimmed and were in a terrible position to actually have a shot at the Banshees, but the Banshees are going to be able to get away. And as we can see here, the Banshee's still floating around, just providing a lot of damage, and a beautiful sandwich attack there by Zeus. Picks up the scan and then takes out both of those Banshees. So that was a brilliant little play there by him to get rid of the threat of those Banshees. But as you can see from the production tab, the Banshees keep coming. So we'll have to see how he's going to deal with this constant Banshee pressure. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Bisu actually stays on this 1 base pressure, or if he actually moves out to take the natural. Oh, there we go. Brilliant timing. He actually does move out and puts a command center down at this natural. So he's probably going to use these Banshees to harass for the moment, and then make sure that he can get that command center up in time. He's probably going to try and do as much damage as he can, of course. And then once again, these Cloak Banshees coming through, going to take out a couple of these Marauders. They do a nice amount of damage against the Marauders, and that one is going to just survive. Nice little survival run there from that particular Marauder, and we do not see any Vikings coming out. Of course, you do need the detection so you can actually shoot the Banshees, but still, it'd be good to see if he can actually get just 1 or 2 out to make sure he has a little bit of air superiority. But we do have a drop here. The Blue Flame Hellions have come down and have helped to defend against this drop, and the drop is quite nicely deflected with the Marine, the SCVs. The SCVs were saved. Brilliant reactions there by Bisu, who actually gets the SCVs out, and this factory's just chilling out here, having a drink or something like that. Banshee goes down. We do see an attack in the front as well. So Blue Flame Hellions coming through, taking shots at all these SCVs. A whole bunch of SCVs are going down. This is not a good position for those Marines, and the Marines are just getting roasted on that ramp. Do not want to run in there and leave yourself exposed to just to getting just absolutely annihilated by 1 or 2 blue flame Hellions, which will shoot up the ramp and just roast every single Marine there. But eventually the attack does get deflected, and of course a couple more Banshees and Hellions are on the way. Marines are starting to pile into this army group as well, so we'll see a little bit more diversity now, but we'll have to see if he can actually deflect an attack, which is now coming from Zeus. Zeus is marching across. He only has, it's a really paltry force there. It's only a few Marines and a Marauder and a couple of medevacs, of course, to heal up, but they're going to come through here. He's going to attempt an attack on the front. I'm not really sure if this is going to work at all. Bisu does now have 4 Cloaked Banshees, which are going to come across and take some shots there, probably try and force a scan outside his base and see what he can do. One of the Banshees actually runs out of energy, and a scan does go down to try and take out the other 2. We do see 2 of the Banshees dead now, but a whole bunch of the Marines and everything there is actually killed. So effectively that was a whole push deflected with just the 2 Banshees, and obviously that's going to cost Zeus quite a lot, given that he is already way behind on his production, and not to mention his army as well. As we can see, Bisu currently sitting on 79 supply against Zeus's 58, so Zeus is going to have to do some catching up. He's got to pull something out of the bag of tricks here to actually get back in this game, because as we can see, a huge push is now coming out from Bisu. We got 4 Banshees, we got about 8 Blue Flame Hellions, and a whole bunch of Marines there as well, so this is going to be an absolute awesome little party at the front base of Zeus, and we'll see if he actually has the defense to actually hold this off, but I do not think it will be the case there. Bisu just sort of supplementing his income just at the moment, getting a few more SCVs out, and he's going to obviously push in through the front of the base now. I think he's just going to may just actually just try and go straight in. I'm not really sure. He's sort of just sitting out the front there. A scan does go down, as we can see, and the scan sees that there is a bunker there, and a couple more Marines were there as well. So we'll see what happens here. The Banshee's coming in yet again to provide some more distraction, and of course to just absolutely tear apart these Marines as well. And now the Marines are going to fight back. The stim goes off, and they attempt to come up here, and it looks as if the Banshees, just some fantastic control here from Bisu. And he's going to be able just to wail away at this command center, but a scan does go down. The Marines have stimmed, and they're going to just, it's just a terrible position to actually scan like that when you've got Banshees just hanging over a cliff, and they can just float away and be way out of range of those Marines. And the Marines, once again, are being absolutely torn apart. The scan finally does go down, but it just looks as if this force here is just going to march in once Bisu has done what he can, and wow, just even more is now coming out from Bisu's base, and it's going to march across, and even more is going to be on the way shortly. But as you can see, Bisu is now running out of minerals at his main, and of course Zeus is in a similar position, so we'll have to see if he can actually hold off, because if he can actually hold off this attack at the front, this is obviously going to put him in back sort of in an okay position. It's sort of dependent on if the Banshees all die or not, because how many Banshees did we have out? We had something like 8 Banshees actually out at the moment, so it'll be interesting if he can kill some of these Banshees just to get rid of them. But a scan does go down again. I believe that one was from Bisu, and Bisu's going to come in here with his Cloaked Banshees and take some shots. There is a tank there as well. The tank's going to take a lot of damage there, and the scan does go down again. One Banshee goes down. There it is. And the Marines are going to be happy with that they finally actually got something. So just sort of waiting at the moment to see if Bisu's actually just going to push in the front or not. But it looks as if he's just going to keep these Banshees around to harass and just pick off random units there, which is of course going to waste more production time for Zeus. And it looks as if he's just going to, I don't think Zeus actually has any more scans left. There may be one, I'm not really sure. No, there's no scans just yet. As we can see though, there may be one here, because he's going to come in and attack these Banshees and tries to come across to the cliff. But as you can see there, Bisu is actually in a really cool position. He was probably looking to actually do an over the cliff roast with those Banshees, just to position them off the edge there, and when the Marines come across to hit the actual Banshees instead of the Hellions, I mean, the Hellions will just shoot the blue flame up the cliff and just roast apart those Marines. But it looks as if Bisu's probably preparing for his final push. We'll probably see these units move across and then meet up with their buddies over here at the front door, and then we'll probably see the end of it. And one SCV does spot the push coming, so Zeus is going to try and need to do anything he can to actually hold off this push. But these Banshees, once again, these Banshees is proving awesomely useful in their harass on the base of Zeus. As you can see, Zeus attempting to put up some more defenses. The siege tank's moving to the front because he knows that the attack is inevitable, and his counter at the moment is to just do what anyone would do with this type of sort of contain on your base, is just to actually drop in your opponent's base, and the drop does go ahead there. They're going to probably take out all of these 4 racks here, but truth be told, that is a little bit of a hollow victory, because at the front, as we can see, Bisu now moving inside with his tanks, with his blue flame Hellions. I think that's like, how many is that? That's 9 Banshees just absolutely destroying everything that is here. Very minimal losses for Bisu. And of course, these units here, this actually could be very interesting. This could turn into a bit of a base race, because Zeus has moved in here with this massive Triple M ball, and the Triple M ball is going to rip apart this this natural here, whilst back at the main, Bisu's forces are of course just getting rid of everything here from Zeus, and Zeus has lifted his command center, and he's going to be floating that one away. And take a look at this, Bisu is doing the exact same thing. These guys are sort of in an interesting position here, just flipping a coin and just throwing everything to the wall, because they are both in a bit of a base race. I'm a bit surprised that Bisu hasn't actually lifted everything else off, such as these starports and the factory and this other barracks over here, but either way, he's going to lose everything here, I think, now. And of course, over here back in Zeus's base, everything is just about dead. We'll probably see the last couple of buildings go down, and then I think Zeus may GG. What are the actual stakes of resources? We got Zeus sitting on 361 over 800 for his minerals and gas, and Bisu sitting at 755 over 300. So Bisu in a little bit of a better position here, of course, being able to actually rebuild everything. Interestingly, both of these players are actually going to go straight to the natural with their command centers. Bisu, for some reason, I'm not really sure what the point of this is, but he's building a command center here at the main, perhaps just to get some more gas income, of course, but it's not really going to matter, because essentially what he has is actually just going to rip apart what Zeus has, and Zeus is probably going to have to GG once he sees the units coming in. This fleet of Banshees is about to fly through and just rain death on this Marine Marauder ball, and the Hellions, of course, are going to come through the front as well. I think we'll see the GG in just a second, because that is way too much for Zeus to handle, and he's trying to run back to the front to stop the command center from dying, but this is just an absolute no-hoper. Scan goes down, attempts one last little defense there, obviously does not work, because Bisu has a way superior army, and that is a GG there from both players. A great little game there, interesting little strategy from Bisu, just constantly spamming out the Banshees with the cloak, doing a lot of harass, which was really cool. And the Blue Flame Hellions, of course, are as well providing a lot of defense against the light Marines, and because of course they obviously do the bonus damage against the Marines. So hopefully you guys like that one. It was a little bit of a base race at the end as well on the smiley face map, and that was a pretty cool one. So leave some comments, leave me some feedback, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.